great fade out. I'm telling you, I'm getting pretty good at this.
We're
Should have been a DJ.
172 shows, and we're starting to get our groove. The groove is happening.
The groove.
The groove.
Groove.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of astronomy outreach for April the 16th, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show.
Hey.
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 Kurt?
Oh.
I'm the host.
Cowser and everything. This is great.
See that, yeah.
Maybe they'll jump over the moon. I don't know.
Maybe. My name is Chris Currow, and I'm the host of this evening and the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm an amateur astronomer and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. Hey! First of all, I'd like to introduce our two regular co-hosts of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in Hampton, ND. Paul.
Hello.
Evening. And our other regular co-host here on the program, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in beautiful St. John. Well, welcome, Mike.
Morning.
Hey. Oh.
Okay.
Fade in, fade out kind of thing again.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this camera.
Did you have that same chocolate bar I did?
I did.
Okay, well, on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, while constellations are the road maps of the night sky, like Orion in the winter, Leo becomes one of the prominent spring constellations. Tonight, we're joined once again by our fellow RAS member and storyteller, Kurt Nason.
Hey.
Hi, everybody! Okay,
You got to do the whole thing like that.
Kurt will provide us with the legends and treasures associated with this easily visible patch of sky. Also on tonight's show, Mike will offer another Vinyl Bud treasure to enjoy. And there's no Rosanna's fun fact this week. Rosanna has the week off. I'm going to have a quick look, though, at what to watch for in this week's sky, and we'll have all of your wonderful photo submissions to share as well. This is a family-friendly, interactive live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel or Facebook page, we're happy to try and answer all of your astronomy. Well, Kurt's here to answer all of your astronomy questions.
Yes.
Real time as well. Hey. Yes. And of course, we'd like to welcome back all of those who have been joining us from the local Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. Okay, so let's get started then with tonight's program and a look at the prominent spring constellation of Leo. That would be up to you, Kurt.
Okay. Okay, Leo, the Lion. Now, this is one of those constellations that really does look like what it's supposed to. When you look at this grouping here like that, it's obviously a head and you got a tail back here. So a lot like Canis Major, it's got to be some four-footed critter of some kind. And so why did they choose the lion? Well, if you go back 4,000 or 5,000 years, say ancient Babylonia, around that time in the summer, the sun was in Leo. The ecliptic runs right down by here, just down below that star right there. So the sun was in Leo at that time. And in the summertime, well, it gets very hot, especially around the Mid-East. And the sun played such a big role in everybody's lives. And it's just natural to link it up with the king of beasts, which was the lion. And a bit more on that in Africa, the Nile River. Summertime come, the lions would go and more or less camp out by the river to make it where it was a little bit cooler. So they got associated with that, and that constellation got really known as the lion. And several of the societies there over a few thousand years, they all looked at that as being a lion. In ancient Babylonia, they called it Urgula. Nothing to do with the vegetable, or Urgula, which meant the lion. Now, in other places, they saw different things that we'll see later. And down around South and Central America, one of the large jungle cats there, they thought they named it after that. So when you see Leo coming up in the east there when it's first rising, it's coming up front paws first. So it looked like the cat starting to sleep and be leaping across the sky over the night. And then when it starts to set in the west, the front paws are leading down. So it looked like a cat was jumping up and falling down there across the sky like that. So we got a lot of things around in here. There's Leo Minor, which was made up by Hevelius in the 17th century. They're trying to fill in, he and a few others are trying to fill in somewhat empty spaces in there. So Leo Minor gets it in here. We see it pretty much as a triangle or a diamond shape there. Most of the stars are quite dim. Now, if you want to have, or if you have trouble finding Leo or when he's going to be up, always just look at the Big Dipper and it's directly down below the bowl. With little Leo Minor there somewhat in between of them. So that's what I always look for. I look for the Big Dipper and then come down to Leo like that. Leo's probably under the horizon there for most of that time, but when he rises up, it's still going to be directly below the bowl. And it's in the ecliptic. We've got Cancer here on one side and Virgo here on the other. Very faint sextants, which is another one of the newer constellations, running just above Hydra here, the Hydra here, which we talked about before. All right, so we get some, the main story about Leo, you take it from the Greek mythology, would be Hercules in his first labor. And now Hercules was boarding up there with King Eurystheus, and Hera wanted Hercules dead. So she had get Eurystheus there, give Hercules all these labors to do, originally 10, and any one of them would have killed anybody normal. But Hercules wasn't quite a normal person. He was the son of Zeus and very, very strong, the strongest guy in the world. So his first labor was to kill this lion. It was a man-eating lion, and apparently it had been made by one of the goddesses on the moon. And the lion had jumped down and was living up in the hills of Nemea. And anybody that went up to, get all the brave young guys to go up to kill this man-eating lion, become famous, none of them came back. The lion's skin was so thick that nothing would penetrate it. So no spears, no clubs, or anything like that would cut through it. So Hercules had to go kill him. So Hercules sets out, he goes up into the hills, he finds a cave, it should be the lion's cave, and he puts a big rock in front of the door. He figures there must be another entrance there. So he goes around and he finds another entrance to it, goes in to fight the lion. He didn't take any spears with him, nothing like that. Some cases he might have his club, which he always carried with him. But trying to bash his skull wouldn't work because his skin was so thick. Eventually he finds the lion, so the lion jumps him, and Hercules kills the lion after a battle. There are many different stories in mythology, and I've read 3 different stories about how he killed the lion. Now, one of them was he got it in a stranglehold and held onto that and choked it to death. Now, there's another one that as the lion jumped at him, he grabbed the front legs and rear legs and bent the lion's back and broke it and killed it that way. And the third one I read was he grabbed this lion's jaws with his hands and pulled the jaws apart. And then he took his big club and shoved it down the lion's mouth, sort of choked to death. But it seems to me to do something like that, you'd need 3 hands. So I'm not sure how he accomplished that one. So I usually tell the one about him strangling the lion. Now, there's another bit of a tale that I just realized yesterday when reading on this again. In some stories, the lion's got several young maidens in the cave with him. Of course, he was a man-eating lion, so he wouldn't eat them, but he used them to attract all the young guys to come up. So they'd come up to free the maidens, and they'd be his lunch. And so I guess that was truly a man-eating lion. So when Hercules killed the lion, he cut the skin off because there's only one thing that would cut the skin, and that was the lion's claws. So he took the claws, cut the skin off, where it's such a thick skin, impenetrable. He used that for a shield afterward. And if you look at Orion on the winter sky, he's holding up a shield, and many of the drawings have that as being the lion skin. And here you can see in some of the Hercules movies, this is one of the more recent ones with the rock here is Hercules, and he's got the lion skin there on his head. Now, looking at the lion, I've been used to seeing this picture of Leo the lion in here. You see the bright star Regulus is in the heart, or some people look at it as being the front leg of Leo. You can pick out Leo as either call it the scythe or a backwards question mark there for the mane, and stars up here make the face. And then you got the triangle back here that forms the back legs and tail with the nebula here. And we got the third brightest star, and it is Algeba here. And a little bit more on them in a little while. Right, so he's got two asterisms picked out there, and together they form the Lion. And about 20 some years ago, I was observing down at Prince of Wales with a friend, and springtime, so we were looking at Leo, and he said he couldn't see a lion in this. And I said, I was used to seeing this picture. I said, how can you not see a lion? He saw a mouse. I said, how do you see a mouse there? Turns out he was looking at it backwards. There's the mouse's head, there's the tail. So it does look, well, typically it does look more like a mouse than a lion, but having a great mythology tale of Hercules killing a mouse really doesn't make for a good story. So it remains as a lion. Now, in other areas of the world, ancient Babylonia, they saw it as a big dog. Right? So they'd have the caravans going through, going through the east, maybe all the way to China, and they're camping out at night, and there'd be a lot of thieves around, just waiting for caravans to come through. So they had these huge, vicious dogs that would guard the camp at nighttime to keep the thieves away. So they honored those big dogs with this one up here. Northern Brazil, they could see it as crayfish, somewhat like a lobster. Not sure what they taste like. If anything like the lion, be a little tough. Now, the Talapang tribe of Brazil used Tana, the god of thunder, much like Thor in Scandinavian mythology. So this big club here, so he'd be banging them on the clouds to make the thunder, and probably sparks off that would make the lightning. In Siberia, Chukchi tribe, I saw it as a sleeping woman. Looks like she's relaxing back in her easy chair there to watch TV. In China, they have several different constellations there, a lot of them dealing with government people, a lot deal with water as well, because in the springtime, much of the area there would be drought. And so from May into the middle of June, it'd be very, very hot, particularly up around the desert area. And there'd be a drought for several weeks. They come into June, they have this festival, and they make this big clay water dragon, and they'd run the water dragon through the streets and praying for rain. And typically, within a couple of weeks after that, the monsoons would come, and they'd get the rain, and the wells would all fill up again. So obviously, it's by running the clay dragon through the streets and making the prayers, that's what brought the rain. Now, here's a little more recent bit of lore, and it probably isn't real, but it's something I came across or thought up about 8 years ago when I was doing some writing. So we've heard the term March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. Sometimes it's the other way around. So dealing with the winds. Typically in the early part of March, we get some very, very strong winds. Sometimes it lasts right through the whole month. And so you're looking at this. Here's March 1st. And just as the sun is going down, here's the lion just coming into the sky. That's when we get the wind. So the wind is roaring like the lion. And so the early part of March, we get those big, strong winds. Now here's March 31st. Down in here, there's the lion here. But what do we got here? Well, probably in the fall or when it started coming up in the evening sky, would have been a lamb, but it's grown and got old here. So here's Aries, the ram here. And we'll look at that one as being the lamb. So in the late March, it's going out like a lamb. And quite often at that time of year, the winds have typically died down during the day. And I was wondering if I just made that up, or if there's something other people have seen. It seemed obvious. So I went on the internet back there 7 or 8 years ago, and I saw 2 or 3 different stories about this very same thing. So it seemed quite obvious. I'm not sure if the old saying came from this, but it makes a pretty good match. And the stars here, the main one here is Regulus, and it's 21st brightest star in the sky. It's about magnitude 1.3, 1.4 in that range. And it's one of the 4 royal stars. In fact, the name Regulus means little king. Now, the 4 royal stars, one time denoted the 4 seasons, or also the 4 cardinal directions, northeast, southwest. Right? And so they called that one the king star. It was also, where it's close to the ecliptic, it's one of the 4 first magnitude stars that can be occulted by the moon. The other ones would be Antares, Regulus, or Antares, Aldebaran, and Spica. And Regulus is the only one of those four that I have yet to see occulted yet. Hopefully, there'll be a period of these coming up before too long. Add that one to my list. Now over here we have Denebula, which means Deneb means tail. So this comes from the Arabic Deneb al-Azam, which means tail of the lion. There'll be a few other stars that have Deneb in them. Of course, Deneb in Cygnus, Deneb Catos in Cetus, which goes by a different name officially, but that was one of the names for it as well. So that's the tail star of the lion. Now, long ago, the tail was much longer than this. So the was it Malat 113, the star cluster in Coma, Berenices, that used to be the tuft on the tail of Leo, but the tuft got cut off there. Now we look at Deneb as the end of the tail there. Now the third brightest star up here is Algeba. And this is a nice one. It's a fairly tight 5 arc-second apart double star. And the two stars are about 3.4 and 3.6 magnitude. Well, I've seen some better numbers here, 2.3 and 2.6. And so I believe those ones a little bit better, about 2.3 and 2.6. And they're colorful. They're in the list on the RASC Observer's Handbook as the colorful double stars. So one is the brighter one is a yellowish color, and the slightly dimmer one is orange. And with maybe with a pair of binoculars, big binoculars, you might be able to split them. But certainly in a smaller telescope, they make a pretty view being split. And there's one other one I'll bring out here. There's R here. So this is R Leonis. So the R indicates that it's variable. And this one has approximately 11-month period. It can go from being roughly the 10th or 11th magnitude up to about magnitude 5 roughly. Okay, so right now it's just on the starting to brighten up again. I got a heads up from Ted Dunphy there a few days ago. I think he was getting it around magnitude 9 or thereabouts and be brightening up over the next few weeks. So you can pick that one out and keep watching it with binoculars, or you're going to need a telescope for a while, and just take account of the brightness, how it changes over that period of time. And what's really spectacular about Leo is this meteor shower. And this is probably one of the more famous ones, and certainly one of the most awesome ones, but you don't get it all the time. And so it comes from 55P Tempel-Tuttle, the comet, which has about a 33-year period. And so here's the comet here, 33-year period. You see Jupiter in here, Earth inside there. So you can count it going around 33 times. Well, this goes around once. Maybe something to do while I'm rambling on here. But it had a spectacular shower, not much recorded on it, back in 1799. But there was some carried forward from that. And in 1833, there was this spectacular one here. There's a woodcut that was done on it maybe 50 years later. Somebody had a memory of it. And this is what the sky looked like. This is in time lapse. And here's another one. I think it was from the same one. This is over in Niagara Falls, and some guy named Pickering had done this one. So I know it's Pickering from Harvard, which means it might have been a different shower. So 1833, that was spectacular, and people thought that the stars were all falling out of the sky. And a lot of people were getting extremely scared about that. They were praying, they thought the world was coming to an end. And came around to 1866, and then again they had another one. Now I'm talking about a lot of meteors here. These were falling, this happened pretty much for the entire night. And the estimated rate was greater than 100,000 meteors per hour.
Wow.
There's a big storm.
Wow.
1866, there was a repeat. Maybe not quite as strong, but just spectacular. Yeah, when this one started to peter out in 1833, after several hours, they were still getting about 30,000 an hour. If I have to go back in time somewhere, just pick one date and place, that's where I'd want to be.
Absolutely.
Your last wish, just to see that spectacular thing. Okay, so then in 1866, and they realized that, okay, we had one in 1799, we had one in 1833, then we got one in 1866. So then they started linking it to perhaps to this comet, 55P Temple Tuttle, with that 33-year period. And then they're starting to realize then that meteor showers are caused by repeating comets. So they go around, they leave that trail of ice particles and pebbles behind them. And over a long period of time, they can stretch out through the entire orbit. But always near where the comet is, just maybe a year or two ahead of it and a year or two behind it, you're going to have a denser concentration of these particles. That's when you get your showers at their best, or your storms. Now, as a meteor storm, when I first started reading about these, it was about maybe 1,000 per hour. They call it a storm. And I've seen later numbers of 1 per second, which would be about 3,600 per hour. And so these were certainly storms. So everybody's waiting for 1899. They had a pretty good shower, but it wasn't a storm. And the same thing in 1933. Decent showers, but no storm. And so they were starting, okay, maybe it's petered out. 1966, they had it again in pretty much say the western part of North America. And most of these ones, Europe didn't get that shower. So it was short-lived. And it happened here again. I think we would have missed it in 66, or most of it. But in the western part of the continent, they got it. And for a brief period, they were getting over 100,000 an hour for a rate. Now, we got one coming up here in about 10 years. The comet will be coming around again. And so we'll see. Predictions are we're not going to get a great one, but we can always hope for something. And even if we get 600 or 700 an hour, it's far better than anything we've seen before.
Oh.
Now, this 1999 one, 2000, Ed O'Reilly and I and others were going to go out, and it was cloudy for much of the time. It was a little bit clear early on, cloudy, this and that. And Ed and I were down at the Prince of Wales, and we saw it starting to clear up. And we had checked. Ed was a meteorologist, so we checked the internet there at home. And it looked like we might be getting a clearing around 4 o'clock. So we were down at Prince of Wales, and we went to La Pro. And just before 4 o'clock, it was starting to clear up pretty good. So in about a 75-minute period there, we saw between us 150 meteors. I think each of us saw about 120.
Wow.
So we'd sit there and watch and say, I see one. So between us was 150, and individually we each had about 120, which is pretty good for 75 minutes.
Nice.
Now, the next year, the Leonids are also known for having pretty good fireballs. So the next year, a bunch of us are out, Joe McDonald, Adrian, Ed and I as well. We'd be driving around, and I think we started off at Penfield on the old landing strip out there, and actually it started to snow late in the evening. So a couple of them headed for Maine, and most of us headed back to St. John. And we were driving around in the middle of the night, first of all, St. John to say Prince of Wales and back again, looking for a clearing in the sky. And we could see the clouds lightening up for a couple of seconds. We're missing these fireballs, but they're brightening the clouds.
Uh-huh.
So that was a fizzle. And then the next year in 2002, went out again. It was cloudy, so I went home and waiting for it to clear. And getting close to 5 o'clock, I see moonlight coming in the basement. So I saw it was cleared. I went down to Prince of Wales. I took an alarm clock with me. And I set the alarm clock to give me an alarm every 10 minutes. And I count meteors in that time. And just go through roughly, you're starting at 5 o'clock. In 10-minute intervals, I had seen 5, 11, 10, 5, 20, 11, 20 from 5:45 to 5:55, 26 in the next 10. I started counting 5-minute periods. I was getting 8, 9, 7. It was getting deep twilight right now. This is at 6:30. It was starting to get into quite light. So I saw one at between 6:40 and 45. I saw 4, and this is when the predicted time for the meteor storm to occur. But it was bright twilight here. And then the next 5 minutes, I saw 3. I stopped counting at 6:53. And
Wow.
overall, I had about 150 in, just less than 2 hours. A lot of this is in twilight. But off the East Coast, so in Los Angeles, and on the Pacific, right around down to Hawaii, they had a meteor storm there with over 1,000 per hour.
Wow.
They were
Nice.
pretty spectacular meteor showers there. Hard to argue with those.
Hmm.
All right, look at some of the deep sky objects. And so here's we got the Leo triplet and the Leo trio. All right, so the Leo triplet is down off the haunches here of Leo and down a little bit farther. And so we've got M95. Oh, this is the Leo trio here underneath the belly of the lion. So we've got M95, 96, and 105 in there. All right, so these three are all fairly close together. And to find them, I look just not quite halfway from here at the back end up toward Regulus, just under the belly, sort of picture a line. These lines here, really dark sky to see those lines. So most of the time you can't get them. So you can just sort of pretend you're looking at it. And then just a little bit down below there, pair of binoculars, you can pick those three galaxies up. So M95, it's 8 by 5 arc minutes, and it's magnitude 9.7. Okay. These are roughly 30 to 40,000 light years away. M96 nearby there is magnitude 9.2 and roughly the same size. And the third one is M105, 105, and it's 9.3. So with a big pair of binoculars, I picked these up before. A small telescope would get them quite easily. This one's a little bit smaller, so it'll be a little tougher to get. Then you see the three of them right in there. And Paul, you've probably imaged these several times here, the Leo triplet and the Leo trio.
Yeah, I haven't done the trio, but I've done the triplet.
Okay, well, it's time to get out there.
Those red circles, Kurt, are they visible too, or are they just lines?
Yeah, these you see those at when it's really dark. You don't ruin your vision.
Okay.
So these are this is the
that's the Telridians.
yeah. So these are the Telrad ones. So this is the view you get in a Telrad, just to give you an idea of how far it is. So this is 2 degrees from the center down to here. So only about 2 degrees below that hard to see blue line in there. So this must be the center line or the face-off circle, center ice. All right. So we go over to the triplet off the rear haunches here and just come down from there's a Zosma up here down to Churton and then down into here. And again, roughly just a little bit over 2 degrees away. Down straight down that line and over here a little bit. So you get 2 Messiers there in there, and I'm not sure why he didn't pick that other one up as well, here in Machine. It's not in their logbooks at all. So M65, again, magnitude 9.3, stretched out quite a bit there, 9 arc minutes by 2 arc minutes. And M66, so got a nice spiral in there, a little bit bend to it, 8 by 4, and it's magnitude 8.9. So it's fairly a bit brighter. And it's in the same field as M65. And this third one that apparently wasn't seen by Messier, and that's NGC 3628. You see it right here. Right, so you pick these up, they're all fairly close together. And this is maybe one of the more imaged ones here because of this. It's the Hamburger Galaxy.
Yes.
Right? It's also called Cirrus Galaxy, and nobody's quite sure why it's called that. Again, it's about 8 by 4, magnitude 9.5, so not a lot different from those other ones. Okay. Now that looks like a really good one to have an image of there. You can see the dust line across there. And just 2 days ago, that was the Astronomy of the Day feature on there. So you can see there, you can get hungry just looking at it. That's the Hamburger Galaxy. And so when I look at something like that, I get I start to relish the thought of going out and learning to do astrophotography because I don't do that.
Relish the thought?
I relish the thought, but I have to mustered up the courage to go out and learn how to do this stuff.
Pretty
It'll
cheesy.
take me quite a while to catch up to Paul and Mike and Chris with their abilities to take images like beautiful ones like that. So that's all I'm going to talk about there.
It's pretty cheesy, Kurt. Wow. What
Did
story?
you know too that
Forgot bacon.
Yeah.
M66 had 4 supernovae in it.
Okay.
4 identified supernova, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The legends of the constellations pretty violent there, Kurt. Like, you know, it is a family show, right? You should pick something a little bit easier maybe next time. Like,
Well, that was a man-eating lion.
yeah, true.
Yes.
Awesome talk. Thank you, sir.
What's neat about Leo is that's the one constellation that I can actually equate something from Star Trek to it. And that's Denobula, where the Doctor came from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Which doctor? Not a witch doctor, but which Star Trek?
What series is it? Oh, the one with
Oh, Star Trek Enterprise.
yeah, just before Kirk, Enterprise. Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, prequel.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the correct data.
Oh,
Star
Oh,
Trek. Sorry.
oh,
they're all back now.
Yeah, watch that. There's one more, I think, in the series.
Yeah, there's one more. Yeah.
What was that doctor's name? Somebody.
Who?
Somebody shouted out from Denobula. He was from, right? Wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I never watched that series.
Dr. Phlox. Dr. Phlox.
That's it.
More puns than fireballs, huh? Okay.
Watch with the clocks.
Thank you, Kurt.
You're welcome.
Great legends. I'm going to give all kids nightmares now that listen to that part. Yeah, they were pretty violent people for Greeks.
Yeah.
I thought the Romans were violent. I
They
guess
see
the
worse
Greeks were
things
really.
on their
Do
video.
we need to put up like a PG symbol at the start of this when I do these?
Might have to. Well, I did say it's not for kids, but anyway. The parents can decide whether they want to punish the kids and let them sit and watch the show. Of course, that would be punishment anyway, right?
You won't let it punish kids. Wait till make them watch the next segment here.
Okay.
There you go.
And there we go. Next segment, Mr. Albino Bud.
Oh, I'm up. Okay.
Sir,
Should be the screen. All righty.
there we go.
Binocular target of the week by Bino Bud. Now
Looks
we've
just like you, Mike, like the avatar.
what's that?
Looks just like you, that avatar.
What, the white one with the binoculars?
Yeah.
I haven't got my summer tan yet.
Yeah. No clothes either.
Where we've moved into galaxy season, what follows right behind galaxy season is globular season. So what our target of the week is this week is M13.
Ah.
Alrighty, Messier 13, also designated as NGC 6205, is sometimes called, or always called, the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules, or the Great Hercules Cluster. It's a globular cluster of several 100,000 stars in the constellation of what? Hercules. Although only telescopes with great light gathering capability can fully resolve the stars of this cluster, M13 may be visible to the naked eye depending on the circumstances, but it's very visible in binoculars. How do I find it in the sky? Well, this time of year, if you wait until midnight, that's all 4 zeros, and pointed yourself 90 degrees to the east and looked up about 30 degrees, you would find basically the keystone of Hercules. And you look between those two stars about, 1/3 of the way down between these two stars, and you're going to find M13. It's actually pretty easy to spot when you're looking up in that area. Again, a little closer look, you look up, you find this keystone, and it'll be the closest two stars of the keystone that are to you or coming towards you. And it's about 1/3 of the way down between these two stars. And what are you going to see? A beautiful globular cluster. And I haven't figured out yet why, but every globular cluster I look at has a star, a bright star on each side. One of these days I'll have to figure out why that is. But in 10 by 50 binoculars, there's your globular cluster, and there's a star on each side, two bright ones. But there's your globular cluster in the middle. Compared to the full moon, well, might be about the size of Mercurisium. One of the mirrors on the moon. So it's easy enough to see. When you look up, you'll see it, and it'll look like a smudgy star, but you'll see those two stars beside, kind of mixed like a little triangle. And that's what happens at star parties.
Yes.
And that's Binocular Target of the Week by Bino Bud.
Awesome. Yeah, that's coming up pretty soon now too, isn't it? I mean, it's up now anyway, right? Hercules,
I think I got a wide field picture of it just a couple of days ago.
yeah, awesome.
Didn't he do the Centaur or something? Wasn't there a Centaur with Hercules?
He trained him.
You trained him.
He trained him.
He was a teacher, yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Hercules. Now that's an
Chiron.
interesting.
Yeah, it was Chiron, Centaur.
No,
So
that's
that,
an interesting constellation, Hercules. Summer.
There was a cartoon when I was a kid growing up. It was called Hercules, and they had that.
Big me, Herc.
Okay,
dude.
Herc, what do you think, Herc?
Yeah.
Get out of here, you foolish Centaur.
Oh, well, we're going back. Okay, before we revert back to childhood, let's get on with the next section.
We are in our childhood.
Oh, we are already, yeah. Okay, Paul, you're gonna have to give us a little bit of tunes, I guess, here while I get ready.
Uh-oh.
You do. Oh,
Are you?
Oh, let's go, Kurt. Play her up.
Right.
Here you go, Kurt. Let's go.
oh boy. Musical interlude.
Love the live stuff.
Purple Haze.
Are you ready yet?
I think we're ready. I hope we're ready. Phew, okay, get that by that one. All right, a little look at the sky this week. And we'll see what's happening this week. First of all, probably would be amiss if I didn't mention what's happening tomorrow, or maybe happening tomorrow.
SpaceX.
Hey, SpaceX Starship. There she is. Look at her.
That's a
400
big
feet tall.
That's a big rocket, isn't it?
That's a big rocket. Yeah. Now that's the back side, the belly side there, where she's all black, where the tiles are all laid out on it. And that's the one that they're planning on taking to Mars, I guess. So it's inaugural flight will be tomorrow. Both sections are going to land in the ocean. Anyway, SpaceX has cleared the final regulatory hurdle, standing before the inaugural launch of a Starship rocket, the most powerful rocket ever constructed. The Federal Aviation Administration, which licenses commercial rocket launches, announced Friday that it granted the company's request for an uncrewed flight test of the rocket out of the SpaceX facilities in South Texas, in Boca Chica. The vehicle, which has already undergone pre-flight ground testing, is poised to take off as soon as Monday. Now, the inaugural flight test will not complete a full orbit around the Earth. If successful, however, it will reach orbital speeds and travel about 150 miles above Earth's surface, well into altitudes deemed to be outer space. A Starship consists of two parts: the Super Heavy booster, a gargantuan rocket that houses 33 engines, and the Starship spacecraft, which sits atop the booster during a launch and is designed to break away after the booster expends its fuel to finish the mission. On this flight, the rocket booster will be discarded into the ocean shortly after liftoff. In future flights, however, SpaceX plans to recover the vehicle by guiding it to an upright landing back at the launch pad. The Starship spacecraft will complete nearly one full lap of the planet, ending its flight with a splashdown off Hawaii. So, big day tomorrow first. And there's these little jaws that you see here are what is supposed to catch this bottom section when they get this perfected.
Oh.
Chopsticks, they call it, I guess. Chopsticks are supposed to catch it and then lower it down onto the platform again. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
And that's to go for tomorrow morning. I'm not exactly sure what time. Maybe somebody can post it if they've looked it up. Also, now on Thursday this week, another special event, the moon will pass in front of the sun, creating a hybrid total annular solar eclipse, hybrid total / annular solar eclipse visible from Western Australia, East Timor, and Eastern Indonesia between 2236 and 0359 ADT, 1217 to 3:25 p.m. in Australia. Hoping for clear skies for all of you over there. There's the path of totality. Of course, we get our chance next year. We get a chance actually in October of this year, an annular eclipse coming across from the Gulf, I guess, up along the coastline, western U.S. on October the 14th, I think it is. And then we have our turn on April the 8th of 2024. So this is what's happening on, now I believe that's going to be shown on the website timeanddate.com. If you go there, they have a YouTube channel as well, and they're going to live stream the event. So that's a good thing about live streaming, is that we don't have to have the event in our area. We can catch it someplace else.
Well, if you had an airplane, you can go see it.
You could, that's right. If you had an airplane.
Yeah.
But I don't have an airplane, so anyway. Thursday, April 28th, we have the 19-hour moon for us at sunset. An interesting challenge. Moon, it's new moon that day, of course. Interesting challenge, though, each month is to try and view the moon after sunset at its earliest point in the cycle. Now, that evening is Thursday. Look to the west shortly after sunset for a very thin moon, only about 19 hours old. Doctors can help. Be sure that the sun is long set before you start looking for it. But it is a nice, interesting target to try to catch. Nice challenge when you get a chance to see it. Friday night, we have the moon, Mercury, and Pleiades. On Friday evening, look to the west-northwest shortly after sunset to enjoy a view of the thin waxing crescent moon as it greets little Mercury, the beautiful Pleiades cluster, and brilliant Venus. Now, this is only one of a few nights of pleasing early evening views of our western sky this week. Mercury disappears pretty soon, doesn't it, Kurt?
End of the month, it's in inferior conjunction.
In the end of the month, okay. So it's going to start dropping here pretty quickly.
It is now, yeah.
It is now, okay. Saturday night, the moon in Pleiades. Saturday evening provides a very pleasing view of the waxing crescent moon with Earthshine as it rests between the beautiful Pleiades cluster and brilliant Venus. Earthshine is that dull glow lighting up the complete moon caused by sunlight reflecting off our planet and then bathing the moon. And then back at us. On Saturday evening, we have the Lyra meteor shower. Of course, it's called a cloud, I think, right now wasn't it Mike Friday right through to Sunday. So of course we have a meteor shower. The Lyra meteor shower arrives on Saturday evening with an early setting moon. Conditions will be at their best as long as you have a clear sky. Although the shower lasts from April the 15th to the 29th, the predicted peak this year is 10 p.m. in your time zone. And the peak of the Lyrids is narrow, no weeks-long stretch of meteor watching as with some showers. In a dark sky with no moon, you might see 10 to 15 liters per hour. The Lyrids are known for uncommon surges, though, that can sometimes bring rates of up to 100 per hour. The Lyrids are the result of debris from the comet Thatcher. First noticed in 1861, the comet takes 417 years to orbit the sun. Now, its next closest approach to the sun won't take place until 2283. I'm probably going to miss that one. But and we go to Lisa's lookup. Lisa has this chart for us every month. She lists here the events, the dates of those events, the peak times, which are translated for your time zone, Eastern time, actually, and then the seeing tools that you require: naked eyes, binocular, or telescope. So here are all of the events for this month. Lisa puts out this great chart for us, shares it with me, and I'd like to share it with you. So you can find Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy, and More at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Twitter, Mastodon, and Facebook. And of course, we have our St. John Astronomy Club calendar, the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada and Brunswick chapter calendar as well, put out here by our very own Kurt Nason, who puts together an excellent calendar every month and gives us the dates and times of all the events that are happening, special events that are happening throughout the month for up to, I guess, 6 weeks altogether. So you can find that if you go to sjaastronomy.ca, you can download that calendar there easily. And that's our what's up this week.
What's up? That's funny.
Okay. Stop sharing. We're back.
That's that.
That's that. Boy, we're early, guys. What else are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I think it's probably picture time, isn't it?
It's picture time. That's right. We'll do some pictures. I did have
Pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Okay, now it's time for your musical entertainment again, I guess.
Oh, really?
Hang on.
Hi, all.
Let's see if I play something different. Let me see.
Morning, Kurt. could start with this. Okay.
Lose my teeth.
He's okay.
Okay. I think we're up there.
It is.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so for some photos for this evening, Bridget Green sent this one in. She's, hi, Chris. This is a little bit ago, I guess. Happy Easter. Here's a shot of the moon I took last week on a clear night. Thought I would send it along. Bridget, thank you, Bridget. Nice capture there. Over there to Pat Terrio. Pat says he says, here are a few photos for Sunday. I'm slowly starting to get the grasp of this. This has all been processed with the program right on the Dwarf 2. He bought one of those Dwarf 2s. Don't know why Orion came out blue, but it looks neat. Anyway, he has Orion here. And he has Whirlpool Galaxy.
Not bad.
Bernard 33.
Yes, sir.
Ryan, there he is.
There it is.
And the Running Man.
And he's also got this is as well, I think it is. Sure these are Pat's or not. Hang on 1 second there, guys. Just a second. Might have my files a little bit mixed up. I'm not sure. I'm going to skip over them to things are right in the order that I wanted them to be.
That's okay.
That's the way things go. Hang on.
That's the way it should be.
Skip over to a few pictures here to this one. I think Carol being, where's she at? No, it's a little farther. There it is. There's Carol being shot.
There we
St.
go.
Stephen. Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. I was on the wrong page. Hang on, we'll go back. Just talk amongst yourselves there for a minute. Okay. There, that's page 1. This is page 2. Okay, page 2 says Matthew Dupre. Matthew says, hey, Chris, finally got some good weather, and here are some submissions for the week. I got about an hour on the Leo triplet, and also some shots of the sun.
M81, M82.
Right here.
There's a triplet. Very nice.
Okay, thank you. And I think we got Lisa's next. Did I get them in order? Yes, okay. This is Lisa's capture. Lisa says, from the light polluted skies in New Jersey. We were talking about Venus and the Pleiades being together over a few evenings this week. So I did get a few submissions for those as well. Thank you, Lisa. This one's from Derek King. He says, not great shot, but Venus and the Pleiades from northern New Brunswick.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Nice shot. This one we got from is this? Yeah, this is Ali Dada's shot. I noticed this last night when I was laying in bed. It was so bright that it lit up the room. Took a photo.
Pleiades and Venus.
Very
nice.
They were fairly bright. And this one came from Mary Calder McKenzie, taken with my phone, she said.
Oh, that big V in Hercules or in Taurus stands out too.
Never, eh?
Yeah, the big V right there. Yeah. From there we went to Carol. Here's Carol's shot from St. Stephen. Nice,
Very nice.
sparkly Venus sitting there. And this is from Linnea Vandenberg, who said she caught this one. She wasn't quite the Venus and Pleiades, but she got brilliant Venus there in a nice sunset.
Very nice.
That's Pam Sis.
Yeah.
Thanks, Linnea. She said, I took this earlier tonight, not the same thing you were pointing out, but it was still beautiful. So.
Yeah. My
Nicely
favorite
done.
time of sky right there. Favorite time of night.
This one came from Mike Hicks from Kamloops, BC.
Wow, nice.
Sure.
Right on.
And I think from there, we're going to go to David Hoskin, I believe. David Hoskin right here. He said, last night I imaged Messier 108 surfboard galaxy to see if I could capture faint supernova 2023 DBC, which is currently magnitude 19. And I was successful, he said. So,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well done.
yeah, that's a tough one to get.
Catch.
And from there, got his Heidi's Pleiades and Venus together.
Yeah,
Nicely done, David.
Ooh.
it's good.
Robert Gadet is next, I believe, with some captures of the sun. Look at his sun shots now.
Yeah, it's got some incredible detail there.
Yeah,
Unreal.
that looks really good.
Really nice, Robert. Another capture here. He did
Yeah,
have
really-
full sun.
really
He
nice
did
shots.
capture his full sun in here too, but he did get some other ones as well. Great job.
Yeah,
Oh,
lots of
beautiful job.
activity. Unbelievable.
And Kathy Adams, capture of the sun.
Yeah, the spots we're picking up coming around
Yes,
this way.
sir.
Mhm. There they are.
Tell her to clean her lens.
Yeah.
Lots of activity again. Yeah, that's great.
That looks great.
From there, we're going to go to Chris Benoit. Cluster of galaxies. First one ever, he says 80% of the Markarian chain, working on that. 21 galaxies and probably more. Putting it on here, right here.
Yeah, you listed them all. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing once you start looking into your pictures, you're taking these images of main galaxies, but you start looking around and there's so many little ones that you just
This,
don't.
this has to be between the tail of Leo and Virgo, I guess, right? That area we call the realm of the galaxies there.
That's amazing.
It's 149 lights, 27 darks, and 34 bias, a Celestron Power Seeker refractor. Nikon D3200, Deep Sky Stacker, GIMP, and Photoshop.
Very nice. Good work.
Another one here. That's another one of his.
Yeah.
Carriage chain. Yeah.
Very nice.
Well done.
I love that setup. Yeah, that's a beautiful chain of galaxies. And his M51 and M100.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Yeah, really.
Absolutely. He's
Yeah.
coming hard and fast.
Yeah, see ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really good.
This one's from Joey Creswell.
Yeah,
Joey's really moving fast.
Yeah.
That's awesome stuff.
Joey's doing some really, really nice work.
M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy, Evolution 8 at 1280 millimeter, f6.3, and AM5 mount, 36 by 2-minute exposures, 1 hour, 12 minutes total. Stacked in DSS, edited in SIRIL, serial,
The real. Yeah.
and 6 frames ruined by Elon, he says.
Yeah, always.
That's only 6, that's not bad. There's just grabbing it.
M1.
Yeah, M1, yes, sir.
18 by 2-minute exposures, 36 minutes total, stacked in Deep Sky Stacker, Evolution 8 at 1280 millimeter f6.3. Mount was an AM5, edited in serial with tweaks.
Oh, nice job.
Yeah, he's that's really getting good.
Very nice. This one here came from Mr. Owen.
Oh yes.
Who would take that?
Yeah.
There's that hamburger again.
That's hamburger again.
Hamburger, yeah.
Leo triplet, small group of galaxies about 35 million light years away in the constellation of Leo. This galaxy group consists of the spiral galaxies M65, 66, and NGC 3628, taken from my backyard last night just after the moon broke the horizon, or just before the moon broke the horizon. Quick edit in Photoshop. There were no calibration frames at all. I wanted to see if I could get a clean image without the calibration frames and using Photoshop. This edit,
I think you got it.
I think you got it. Yeah.
I really think you got it.
Actually done.
Nice.
Oh,
Very
it's
nice.
Yep. Lots of detail there.
That it's when you look around there, like I've got the image here, that the raw image before I played with it.
Yeah.
And I was just doing that. I was looking at all the different galaxies, like in and around those three, and it's just unbelievable.
Oh, they go on forever.
Yeah, they do. It's just, yeah, I can shake my head every time I look through them.
Yeah. Beautiful. Nice capture.
Thanks.
Mr. Powell.
Oh, geez, you shouldn't have showed that.
13.
No, M3.
M3.
I thought it was M3.
Yeah, M3. Listed as
Oh,
anyway.
don't zoom in, whatever you do.
Okay. I think it's good. I like it.
That was just right off the camera.
That's great.
And a nice moon capture there.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it was real pretty the other morning coming up there, and the clouds just kind of framed it. Just a sliver.
There's some comparison for you. Scale.
That's a Soho shot.
Okay. Oh, is yeah. Size of Jupiter and Earth. Yeah.
Wow, eh?
I always put up a Soho shot when I'm taking my son photos just to show
The
what
comparison.
Soho shots. Yeah, that's funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
That looks great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it looks really, really good.
Those are huge.
Yeah, they ever.
Yeah, there.
So the ones in the center, what's the significance of them being in the center?
Isn't this part of the cycle, Kurt?
Yeah, they start to move toward the center as the cycle ramps up.
We're not quite to maximum.
Tighter and tighter.
Are we a couple of years from maximum right now still?
Yeah, well, they come in pairs. So there's a leading one that's closer to the pole, and the one paired with it, it trails it, and it's moving toward the center while the leading one is moving toward the poles. So over a few years, they keep stretching out like that, and eventually, one of the ones heading toward the pole, it's opposite polarity of what the pole is, and so it can, once it gets close enough, it's a little bit stronger magnetically, and it can flip that one. So that's when you get the ends that 11-year cycle. It'll flip from north to south or south to north.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, nicely done though.
Oh, yeah.
Spectacular around there. Really nice.
That was a good clear day with not a lot of turbulence in the air.
What time of day are you getting them? Like you're trying to get it when it's pretty much straight up?
No, that was actually around 10 in the morning
Okay, so it's pretty low.
before the breeze comes up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
very nice. Yeah.
And finally, was it final?
Well,
This
that's
is
last
day
week.
last week. Oh, I grabbed it anyway. Didn't matter. I still liked it. Yeah.
Don't play with super glue. Yeah. Get your fingers stuck. Nanu.
We love getting please send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We love sharing them here. And yeah, anyway, thanks a lot for everything that you've submitted.
This time of year, you may get a really good binocular view of the Pleiades if you got a little bit of imagination. So in the early evening, they're starting to sink toward the west. And as they get down there, they're coming through a thicker layer of atmosphere. So the seeing's poor. So if you're looking at it in binoculars, you get maybe a couple of dozen of those stars and they're all twinkling. So it looks like candles on a birthday cake.
Oh, wow.
In binoculars, yeah.
That'll be happening pretty soon, probably over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I had a good one there about a couple of nights ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it starts to get in, say about maybe 10 degrees.
Yeah, or even if it's a night of bad seeing anyway, you get it when it's even up higher.
Okay.
So if it's really windy, quite often you get poor seeing.
Yeah.
I was getting them binoculars just like that the other night. They were kind of
Yeah.
flickering. Yeah, looked really nice.
Oh,
Feel like you try to blow them out, but they just don't go.
You fog up the lens of the binoculars.
Water all over them.
Okay, well then, before we sign off, I'd like to mention what's coming up next week. All of us here are members of astronomy clubs, but what are they all about? And how can they help you navigate through this hobby? We've picked up a lot of knowledge from each other, and it's a great group that we belong to. Next week, we'd like to take a closer look at why astronomy clubs can offer what they can offer you, and why it's important to kind of seek one out in your area. So then in closing tonight, I want to thanks once again for all of your support. Special thanks, of course, to Kurt for that excellent presentation on the constellation of Leo. Thank you, Kurt. Look forward to having you back again next month for another talk. Sooner, if you'd like to come back on sooner, you're more than welcome.
Anytime.
I write that down.
That's okay. It's recorded. We got
SOMEDAY. Anytime.
I was going to say special thanks to Rosanna, as I always do, but Rosanna, anyway, thank you. We know we'll have you back again soon. So
yeah, thanks anyway. I mean, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
very much. And she just wants to spend some time with the family this weekend, and oh my gosh,
terrible. Imagine that.
Yeah, but she's she just never misses.
No, I know.
So that's fantastic. So
Faithful right through the whole thing. So
Yep.
fantastic.
That's AstroZana.
That's a lot like
Also,
that.
Yeah. Also hope that all of you who joined us from the Rogers enjoyed the program tonight. If you'd like more information on the night wonders of the night sky, you can find me at astronomybythebay.ca. I'd like to thank Trudy as well and everybody else out there that shares our program for us. We do love getting your photos too, so send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. And please let your friends and family know that we'll be back here next Sunday night at 8 p.m. again on YouTube and Facebook to entertain you on astronomy and the wonders of the night sky. So for now then, from Kurt, Mike, Paul, and myself, we wish you a safe and happy week, everybody. Lots of clear skies. And as we like to say, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up.
Put it up.
Good night, everyone.